What's up, and welcome to a Week 10 Giants Hangout. Madelyn Burke, Jonathan Casillas, and Brandon London hanging out as we preview the Giants-Cowboys Week 10 matchup at Dallas. Giants taking on the 5-3 Cowboys. And fellas, we know how this one went the last time these two teams saw each other. Of course, the home opener, Sunday Night Football at MetLife, 40-0 in favor of the Cowboys. But this one's going to be a tough one for the Giants because, of course, with Daniel Jones, the news of him suffering a torn ACL, Tyrod Taylor still on IR. It's going to be Tommy DeVito at quarterback, the rookie, the undrafted rookie, getting his first career start at Dallas against the Dallas Cowboys. Brandon, I'm going to start with you here. How big of a task is this for a rookie quarterback?
Obviously, it's going to be a huge task for him. We're talking about one of the best pass rushers in the league and probably the best pass rusher in the league right now when it comes to Micah Parsons. But JC, I smell opportunity, man. You know, this is a league full of opportunity. Sometimes you can't help the way that you get into the game, two, the way you start. Opportunity is knocking for a guy like Tommy DeVito. You're a hometown kid. You've got all of Jersey behind you for the simple fact that they want you to do well. There's an opportunity for him to go in there and play a great game and try and sneak up out of there with the win. Now, obviously, we got to manage our expectations when we talk about what will constitute of him playing well. But at the end of the day, still a primetime game on Fox. If you go out there, you do numbers, you throw 2 touchdowns, don't turn the ball over, and at least have the Giants compete, you're talking about a check for the next possibly 3 to 6 months, 3 to 6 years in this league as a potential backup, and who knows, as a starter one day. So, you know, people can look at it and be like, oh, he's walking in. It's a lose-lose situation. There's no lose-lose situation when you're looking at opportunity, and this kid's got the moxie, and he's prepped for it. He's ready to go.
Yeah, look, I think it's actually opposite for Tommy DeVito. I think it's a win-win for him because if he goes out there and doesn't play well against the Dallas Cowboys, the Giants haven't beat the Dallas Cowboys in what, 10 years? Well, Dak Prescott in 10 years, 10 years, 5 years, 10 games.
10 games, yeah.
10 games, right? And if he wins, it's like, whoa, And look, it's his, no matter what, who was playing quarterback, whether it was Daniel Jones, Tyrod Taylor, we got Tommy DeVito now, it was going to be a slim chance in beating a very loaded Dallas Cowboys team. Now I feel like it's almost like you can kind of catch these guys slipping a little bit, given the situation that both teams are in. Yes, Dallas did come off a loss, but they played, I think, very well against a very talented Philadelphia Eagles team. And I think they understand that they are a top-tier team that can compete with the top-tier competition. I think San Fran last month kind of put them in their place, but then they've been playing very well ever since. We're talking about the Dallas Cowboys. And look, there is a talent discrepancy. There is a performance discrepancy when it comes to the Cowboys and the Giants. But watching the Cowboys on film, like the Giants have opportunity to actually do things against them. They don't have good middle linebackers. They do not. Their pass rush is unmatched. They have great speed, great explosiveness along the defensive line. They have multiple guys on the outside that can do very good things. Of course, Micah Parsons leading the way. They have very good corner and very good safety play. But that middle linebacker position, where I feel like the Giants can exploit them, is I don't think it's well mandated there. Ever since Van Der Esch got hurt, I don't think they've had good linebacker play from their middle linebackers. And that means to me, what do the Giants do well right now, no matter who's playing quarterback? They can run the football. So my thing is, don't make it too crazy. Don't put too much on Tommy DeVito. Of course, he's going to have to throw the football, but let's let it be a Saquon Barkley game. A few games ago, he had 36 carries, and it led the Giants down the right path, right? Let's get the Giants, let's get the run game going with Saquon Barkley. Let's start leaning on these guys, attack the interior of their defense, because once you start going outside and you get into a passing game against them, that's when they become the superior opponent, basically against any team, especially with a defensive line. And B, Madelyn, they're not good in the red zone offensively. So if you can make this into a field goal kicking match and make the field goals, and it be a defensive game, that gives the Giants an opportunity to actually compete in this football game.
When you talk about the field goal kicking match, though, of course, it's going to be an issue because we didn't even see either of the Giants' newly acquired kickers last week. Graham Gano, of course, getting that surgery on his knee and will be out the rest of the season. But you mentioned the way that this Cowboys offense has played as well. And well, first of all, I want to talk about the run game. Saquon getting 36 carries. You mentioned that Jets game. That was a career high. And that was the formula for success for this Giants team, especially with a young quarterback like Tommy DeVito. And, you know, you look at this game and think, okay, there's a lot of injuries, a lot of backups in this one. They probably don't have a chance. Well, remember years ago when the Giants were taking on the Nick Mullins-led 49ers with backup, third string every position, and the 49ers came into MetLife and won that game. Nobody thought that was going to happen. Any given Sunday, any given day is a possibility for a trap, for a moment to say like, okay, you know what, this team just played better this day. And I think a lot of that is going to rely on the Giants defense. You know, last week, we didn't see the Giants defense the way that we've been seeing them in recent weeks. You know, of course, the first game without Leonard Williams after he was traded to Seattle, you could see a little bit of a difference in Kayvon Thibodeau because Leonard Williams, of course, plays on that same side of the field as KT does. And just a formidable opponent as well. But you're going up against the Cowboys team with CeeDee Lamb, who set new career highs in receiving yards each of the last 2 weeks. And with, you know, Tony Pollard, who's, you know, running the ball pretty well this season. And you're going to have to get those defensive stops. And Casillas, when you look at the way the Giants defense has been trending upward with the exception of last week, what do you need to see from them to make sure that this isn't a repeat of what the Cowboys did in week 1?
Yeah, well, first off, the Giants' success have this year, there are 2 games that they won, and the success at times during the season has come from their defense, and that's led by Dexter Lawrence. Yes, Leonard Williams was a major cog in what they were doing. I think his presence is felt a lot in the locker room in terms of his leadership off the field. I think Ashawn Robinson and Nacho, I think they can do a good job in, you know, playing for his plays that he would get, and Jahad Ward as well on the field, but you can't supplement that leadership in the locker room. He's the longest tenured defender that the Giants have. You know, him leaving was a huge loss on play, especially in the passing game, and then also that leadership in the locker room. But don't get it twisted. This team, this defense is led by Dexter Lawrence. When Dexter Lawrence have dominant games, the defense looks great. When he doesn't, the defense doesn't look that good. And with nothing coming from the offense, that makes it get out of control because there's no back and forth. There's no ebb and flow. There's just basically one team controlling the clock and then the Giants punting the ball. But if you have a defense that's creating turnovers, like, let's be real about this. You play quarterback, right? You're getting the ball from your center. Dexter Lawrence plays, he barely goes on a 3 technique. He's always in the nose or a 1 technique or a shade or maybe slightly inside on the guard. He's always affecting that guy that's giving the ball to quarterback. And we've seen him against the Jets, like, totally dominate the game to where he hurt 2 guys in, like, back-to-back type of situations. And it's like, if he can play like that, no matter what's going on the offense, special teams, or on the back end, the offense that the Giants are playing will have some type of frustration. Will have some type of – you saw the Bills game, Josh Allen. He looked very average, if not below average, for almost every drive of that game besides 2 drives. And most of those were Dexter Lawrence, big plays by Dexter Lawrence, pressures by Dexter Lawrence. If Dexter Lawrence can play at not a high level, but a dominant level, that will give the Giants an opportunity to be in this game late and stifle this offense, because that can get the ball out, and they do have some great weapons. CeeDee Lamb, one of the better receivers. Gallup is a great compliment. Cooks is that down to right. Ferguson's amazing. Parsons in the passing game. Pollard in the passing game, he's a stud as well. So they have weapons, but you got a guy that can affect that quarterback on every single play, and that's Dexter Lawrence. If he can play that way, and I am hanging my hat on him, because who else can we hang our hat on? Who could we really rely on this Giants team besides Dexter Lawrence?
Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden. So I think we talk complementary football. Usually we talk complementary football, offense, defense, special teams coming together. But let's stay on the defensive side of this football team. We're talking about the 3 levels. If Dexter Lawrence eats, Michael McFadden, Bobby Okereke eat on the second level, and now you don't have a Tay Banks or a Trey Hawkins III as we wait to see if Adoree Jackson comes out of the concussion protocol. You don't have rookies trying to hold up 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds against the weapons that you just described in terms of a CeeDee Lamb and a Brandon Cooks. So complementary football on the defensive side of the ball has to be there this week. And when we talk about Leonard Williams, what he brought the leadership wise in the locker room, JC, I think that can be replaced if Ashawn or a Nacho or even Jordan Riley, who could get that opportunity. If y'all can perform, that's a way of leadership as well. Some guys are rah-rah guys. Some guys are, you know what? I can come in, compliment Dexter Lawrence, get 3 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and maybe a sack. That type of production is now a type of leadership as well. And when we talk about complementary football in the grand scheme of things, because this defense is going to play motivated, especially after the reports or the narrative that was put out there that Xavier McKinney's calling out the coaches or whatever like that. They've had their talk. This defense is going to come out and they're going to play to be like, let's shut everybody up. Let's still play together, band together, because at the end of the day, you're playing with your boys, you're playing with your brothers. So if you're going to come out in this defense, let's say that start that they had against the Jets, Kayvon with the sack fumble, you have to get, and let's say the Giants force 2 turnovers, the Giants offense has to get at least 10 points out of those 2 turnovers this game to keep it close and to possibly sneak away with the win.
Well, at least 10 points, though, might not be enough, because when the Cowboys have held opponents to under 20 points, they won all those games, right? And I think the Giants are going to have to score upwards of 30 if they're going to beat the Cowboys, if the Cowboys have been playing the way that they have.
Madelyn,
and that's just not likely.
We all doing push-ups.
It ain't happening. The Giants will, the Giants.
I'm talking about in one game, not in the season.
Right, no. I'm talking about this game. The Giants must keep them under 20 to give themselves the chance. Yeah. If you start getting into the 30s, that ain't happening.
It's not happening. But if you look at the way that the Cowboys, the games that the Cowboys have played have gone this season, it's like that's how they win and lose, is like up here.
You know, JC, you know the momentum. You know if it's the Giants' day or not early, because you know there's going to be some sort of, let's say, a trick play or a busted coverage. If DeVito and the receivers or whoever that player is that's open, if they don't hit on that, you're going to look at it and be like, oh, missed opportunity. Let's say there's a batted ball on defense, tip ball in the air. If no one comes down with that interception, you're looking at it like, oh, it's going to be that sort of day. So when you're talking about capitalizing, if this team doesn't capitalize early on some mistakes, then you're looking at it like, oh, man, it's today won't be that day. But again, I'm not trying to be, but just because we're the Giants Hangout and we have affiliation with this program, we still are the player in us. We're still looking at it like anybody can be beat on any given Sunday. You know, Willie Beeman was a 3rd-string quarterback for the Miami Sharks, and he came out and got a Metrex commercial out of it. Tommy DeVito can get himself a nice little if Victor Cruz got a Goya commercial, then Tommy DeVito can get him a nice little Parmesan commercial or something like that. Let's go. Opportunity is right there.
Parmesan commercial?
That's the first Italian thing. Without disrespect, it's just the first thing that popped up in my head. Spaghetti, I don't know. Victor Cruz. In college, never heard him speak Spanish. The man scored some touchdowns, did a salsa dance. Next thing I know, he was speaking Spanish at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, all that. Opportunity is right there in New York. That's what
that Duolingo works quick. That Duolingo, play it on the daily.
And this the thing, you know how it is, B. You played, you've been on an active roster. You've been trying to get on that active roster. Every single day you're out there, practice, it's an opportunity. For games, it's an opportunity. The Giants right now, of course, I'm not thinking about the playoffs, but they're not mathematically out quite yet. But also, these guys.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Let's hold up on that.
1 in a million talk, huh?
But let's just keep it to this week, because the likeliness of them making the playoffs is probably the same chances as them beating Dallas this weekend, right? But let's focus on that Dallas game. I will put all my money in on the Giants this week. If Dexter Lawrence goes out and has 15 pressures, like he did a few weeks ago, and Saquon over 100 yards rushing, the Giants can win this game. And that's not even asking for a lot for them.
I mean, it is kind of asking for a lot, considering 15 pressures was a career high.
100%. But
if we get a career performance from two of the star players on the Giants team, then yeah.
But that's what it needs to take, because who else are we going to ask to perform at a very high level against the cream of the crop in the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys, right? I don't want to ask nobody what they can't do, you know, and I'm asking them guys to do something that they've already done, that they've done before. And I feel like Dexter Lawrence, I mean, when he's playing like that, there's nobody in the league that's better, bro, no matter what position, because he's affecting the most vital part of the offense, which is of the quarterback's feet. And he's doing it quickly. Oh, man, like, Madelyn, you've heard me talk about Dexter big game. Like, do you see Dexter, what he's doing today? Because I understand as a linebacker, if my defensive tackle is doing this stuff in front of me, it's going to make my day so much easier. You know, it's cause so much stress.
And look, JC, let's say he doesn't get to 15, right? Let's see they're double him constantly. And let's say he only gets to 8 to 12. But do you know who that opens up?
Yep.
Guess who's back? Azeez Ojulari. We're talking about opportunity. This is another opportunity for this guy to put on tape why Giants fans are like, I want him out. You get so frustrated when you find out that he's hurt, because when Azeez is in the game, that dude got a motor. That dude is fast, and he is getting after quarterbacks. So now, KT, you may have lost Leonard Williams to being on your side, but now you got another edge rusher on the outside. So it and you got your guy in the middle. So again, that's why I say Ashawn. That's why I say Nacho or Jordan Riley, whichever one of you guys have to plug in for Leonard Williams. The opportunity is right there, because you got Azeez, K2, and K5, and Dexter right there in the middle. Bro, you don't gotta be Justin Timberlake, Joey Ramone. None of them do. Just be part of NSYNC. You gonna get that. Joey Ramone is not a person.
Go from Justin Timberlake to Joey Ramone. It's Joey Fatone, first of all.
That dude.
You're right.
Lance Bass.
That dude. Who's the fourth one?
Like the most famous NSYNC member to like misnaming the least famous.
Because you don't have to be either one of them, or you could be a background dancer.
Lance Bass.
Yeah, he got a little TV show like celebrities, so you can. I'm just talking. Who's the NSYNC guy no one talks about?
Joey.
Okay,
probably
Jordan Riley, Ashawn. You can be Joey and still get paid. You know what I'm saying? Still eat, still go on tour. You're still part of NSYNC. You're just not gonna get your own. You're not gonna get your own album, JC.
You're gonna get a spin-off.
You know what I mean?
But,
no solo tour.
This is what I was thinking too, right? The Giants, no one's giving them any type of chance to win this game at all. Like, everybody's gonna pick the Cowboys, right?
Who's got like the most scary person to face is somebody with nothing to lose, right? Nothing to lose. It's like,
and my thing is, on offense, of course, don't put yourself in a bad situation. Like, don't be having them, you know, on passing situations. I don't think you should get into a 5, definitely not a 7-step, but not that drop back type passing game. Keep them off balance, but throw everything at the Cowboys. Fake a punt, fake a kick, throw back reverse, like just throw. Why not?
The annexation of Puerto Rico.
All of that. Why not? Why not? If you can catch the Dallas Cowboys sleeping on this team early, which I think that's going to be the chance. Because they already said, oh, we already beat the Giants, and they look like they're worse than they were when we played them first. You can catch them sleeping early, and if you score some points on this team and they kind of flub some stuff up, this can be a game with the Giants. You give the ball to your best player, Saquon Barkley, and you let him dictate how the game goes, and be smart about the calls that you make for DeVito, because people want to put 2 interceptions on him last week. I give him 1. The other one was on a receiver, right? Other than that, I think he threw the ball fairly well. I think he made some good decisions. I think he stepped up in the pocket and ran because he's an athletic guy. And I think that creates opportunity for probably those guys to sleep on him and him to do some stuff in the Giants situationally, like do something that you won't normally do, that you won't normally see, to catch those guys on their heels. Throw out the playbook, bring in Madden or whatever, bring in your little brother to call calls. Like, I'm serious. Let's not be
conventional. The icebox, you know?
Anything. The reason why, because you can't line up right now with this alignment, especially on offense, and beat this Cowboys team. You're not going to line up and beat them. They're too good. They're too strong. They're too explosive all over the board. But what you can do is scheme up on them and run right down the middle of them. Now, if you can do that and convert some third downs here and there and keep them from scoring touchdowns, because they're not great at scoring touchdowns, they're bottom 4, and make them kick field goals and keep it to a 4-quarter game, the Dallas don't play well late in 4th-quarter games. They don't. Not Dak. Dak has never really performed well in overall body of work, of course. Overall body of work. He has some spots here and there. But if you get him in a situation like that, put a little bit of pressure on him, and then you're running that ball efficiently, and you're doing things on defense to frustrate him, this could be a game late in the 4th, and that's where the Giants can have. But if it's a scoring game, the Giants, by the end of the 2nd, 3rd quarter, they won't be able to score too many points. They're averaging, 11 points on the year. They've only been over 31 time. They're not going to be able to score. But if they do things and catch this team sleeping, because there's been times where, you're rolling and it's like, all right, let's just get through this week. Who we got next? Because this team's trash. And you can't even blame them for thinking like that, because the Giants haven't put on film that they're not anything but that. And it's sad to say, but that's what it is. But you can use that to your advantage. If a team's sleeping on you, we've seen it happen this year. We've seen the Bengals lose. The Cardinals caught them slipping a little earlier in the year. You know what I mean? Like, it happens. Yep. The Giants just got to take advantage of it, because if they lax up for a little bit, it's only going to be for like a few drives. But the Giants got to be able to take advantage of those early drives.
Right. Well, and you've got Tommy DeVito. A lot of people say, okay, this is an undrafted rookie guy who's going to be coming in and quarterbacking. They do have Matt Barkley on the roster. He was on the practice squad last week. Will be the backup this week. And the fact that Brian Daboll is going with Tommy DeVito as the starting quarterback on Sunday against the Cowboys instead of Matt Barkley, a veteran who he's coached in the past and has worked with in the past, kind of shows the fact that Daboll and this kind of locker room have enough respect for DeVito to say, yes, we do trust you with this job. And it also, he said, this is a guy who's been running scout team and in that regard for so long. This is the first week that DeVito's taken all the reps with ones.
This is first start. This is first start too. Yep.
His first start and his first week of taking all the starter reps. So how will that affect it? I mean, because, you come in as a backup, that's a very different energy. You're not getting that same chemistry, timing, all that kind of stuff all week, working through the plays. Now he's in these meeting rooms, in these coaches meetings, in these situations saying, all right, I am the starter and I know this unequivocally. And there's a difference between I'm preparing as though I'm the starter, knowing I'm the backup, or I am the starter and I am preparing as such.
And I think
the game plan is for Tommy DeVito, not for Tyrod or not for Daniel Jones, and insert Tommy DeVito. No, this is Tommy DeVito's game plan going into this game, and he's never had the opportunity before. So I'm excited. Jersey boy, Don Bosco, come on, let's go, Tommy, let's go.
And another thing, JC, I think the week of him taking all the first team reps, what's going to help him is on that deep ball. Because you see the one he underthrew, the Jalen Hyatt one, it gives him a chance to kind of read the safeties a little bit better, because he probably should have took the deep cross. But hey, the man said, let's do it. I'm gonna do it. And he took it, he threw it. But if you think about it, that could be the first time he ever threw a deep route to Jalen Hyatt in a long time, because Jalen Hyatt's not running scout team reps. So now in practice, let's say they have something like that dialed up. Now he gets to really gauge Jalen's speed. Hey, I'm going to put it over top of that safety and put some more air under it for you to get up under there, Jalen. So just the timing on routes, especially when you're talking about guys like Darius Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, those are big play guys. You got to put that ball out there. But then when you got the Wandells, the Daniel Bellingers, there's your security blankets. Know where their spots are going to be. Know where, if I'm a Wandell and I'm running some sort of choice route, when I'm trying to capture that outside of the defender, I'm breaking out. Those sort of nuances is what's really going to help Tommy DeVito this week, taking all the reps. So again, like you said, JC, it's a win-win situation. Go out there. The kid has never shown that he's backed down from any challenge. If anyone who knows North Jersey high school football, and the kid's got metal. He's got metal. He got some courage on him. So you go out there again. I'll be your NIL agent. I'll be your marketing agent. You go get this thing, because I'll have deals for you on Monday when you come back. 25%, JC. 25%.
Got it. And listen, you know what? Tommy DeVito is going to be out there on Sunday. Matt Barkley's the backup. Tyrod Taylor talked to the media earlier today saying that, you know, he does not believe that his injury is season ending, though he is on IR, and nobody has told him that it was season ending. So we could see Tyrod back in the mix too later in the season. And Casillas, you mentioned this, mathematically, the Giants are not mathematically out of it. And if they, you know, 1 week at a time, one game at a time, it's going to be a tough one though against this Cowboys pass rush. Evan Neal, he's got a boot on his left foot. He was using crutches earlier today, so a little bit of a struggle there. But you do have Andrew Thomas back. You do have John Michael Schmitz back. That offensive line is kind of reshaping and retaking form against a tough Dallas Cowboys opponent on Sunday afternoon in Dallas.
You know, it was fun hanging out with y'all. JC counting all your sneakers back there. I'm looking like he got them in 14s. I'm gonna ask him next time.
Lock it out. I know. Jonathan Casillas live from Foot Locker in the storage unit. We appreciate y'all taking the time to hang out with us on the Giants Hangout. Week 10, Giants Cowboys, Sunday afternoon football. It's been a treat. Brandon London, Jonathan Casillas, I'm Madelyn Burke.
Let's go.